Hi guys. Hello. Hi, good to see you guys. I'm gonna give you guys a second here. Let me get you caught up. Let's talk about people pleasing. Oh, I see someone on here. Hi, sweetie. How are you? How are you, gorgeous? Back. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Hi, everyone. Oh, hi. Hi, guys. So let's look at this is a topic that's been going all week. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna talk about it. I know you guys laugh. Like, it was funny because you know what brought this up? The topic of people pleasing, and it's more on relationships, right? Because I was these cards, my Smile Starter cards. You guys know about my cards. Hi Nick. Hi. How are you, handsome? All right. So like the cards, you're supposed to give them away. They're on my website, by the way. This one says, "You are amazing," and then on the back, you're supposed to sign it and hand it over. And so anyway, I have this whole deck of cards, right? And so that you can do it and choose happy. But the one I landed on is this one, and it says focus on what makes you happy. And I was like, this is such a basic concept, and couples suck at it, right? If you think about it from that perspective, every relationship, we'll call them couples, but most relationships across the board, we want to only focus on couples, but whether it's your business partner, whether it's your children, your best friend, your family, all of the above, whatever they are, right? Relationships, actually the toxic ones or the unhealthy ones or the frustrated ones, are because we are people pleasing, right? And tell me I'm off base here, but I get so frustrated because we have been programmed in our ego brains and in these external resources for so long to people please, right? We have been people pleasing for so long, and now we get into a relationship, i.e. couples, right? But it could be a business partner or anyone, and they go, hey, do you want this, or do you want to do that, or let's just use food since I'm hungry right now, so I'm getting ready to focus on dinner. And they go, hey, do you want to go eat here? Yeah. And you really don't, right? You really want a burger and a beer, and you want a burger and fries, right? And they're like, no, I really want sushi. And you're like, all right. And you please them. You do what makes them happy. But then later you get in an argument and you're like, we never go out for burger and fries. We never, and it's like this constant, and now you resent them for giving them what they asked you, and they said they want this and they chose, and now you're giving them that, right? And so I find this so fascinating that we can't get ourselves to the perspective of going, what makes healthy relationships? You get healthy relationships when you stop freaking people pleasing. Stop people pleasing everybody. Stop telling them, I'm okay with this. I'll do what you want to do. What do you want? What do you want? Because we do this shit all the time in our relationships. And I'm like, and I guess because it came up on this card today when I was going through, and I was like, I'm going to go use some of my Smile Starters. They're called Smile Starters, by the way. There's all these cards, and they come in all different topics. And focus on what makes you happy. And I was like, you know what? I am so guilty of this. And especially with my husband, it's not his fault. He'll just go, and I'll say, well, pick whatever you want. And I don't really want that. And I let him pick. Now, most of the time I am pretty good because we pick the same things. So it's kind of like that's not really an equal one on food, right? Because I don't really care about food. But just certain things, I'm catching myself of agreeing and people pleasing and saying, okay, well, whatever you want. And then later being irritated that I didn't get what I want. Same thing happens in relationships. Same thing happens in medicine right now, right? Going, oh, I went there and they didn't make me better. Well, that's your own damn fault. Quit pleasing them and going, oh, because they have a title or they have a letter behind their name or whatever. But I didn't feel better and I didn't get better, but I did what they said and I'm still not better. Well, then that's you people pleasing to the doctor, to the friend, to the grocery store, to the whatever store, and go, that's just what they said. Go do what makes you happy. Focus on what you want. So the question is, I know I'm getting all riled up, but it's just something that gets to me, which is this whole relationships and people pleasing. And then people say, how do you become a badass power couple? And I know this is like not what people want to hear, but relationships, guys, it's like we want to meet the dream person of our life, right? Or we want to be in the dream marriage of our life, right? And I like, it's not about rainbows and unicorns. Those are the great moments. Those are great times, right? But it's not about rainbows and unicorns. The power couples, you know where they come from? They come from the couples that actually like more pressure, not less. They deal with more pressure, more problems, more difficult scenarios together is what really bonds them and makes them strong. That's where power couples come from. Bonded, strong, powerful connections. When you have to go through the shit together and the trenches together, and you have to dig through a lot of challenging issues, that's where you build out a power couple. Not the one that just wants to party and live it up and have a good time and be in a happy delusional state all the time. That's not where happy, strong, powerful couples come from. They come from grounded stability and strength and foundation, which takes work. And that's not easy, right? And so toxic terrain is going to happen if you start ignoring the moments that your truth is coming up and you want to do something or say something or experience something, and you're not experiencing or living your truth. It's going to create toxic terrain in whatever terrain that relationship may be, whatever it is. Typically it's in marriages or couples or dating. So the second you start dropping your truth talk is what creates security and connection. Because I can say this, even if I still go I want a burger and beer, and I still go get sushi tonight, but I say tomorrow, can we get a burger and beer? I'm still getting my needs met. So I'm not just pleasing and I'm being resentful that I never get my needs met. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal in relationships, which is what I call truth talk. And it is in the couples toolbox on my website. If you want to be able to go through this, go to the couples toolbox, do truth talk, stand in the mirror and say, this is who I am, this is what I want. And can you say that to your partner? Most people can't, right? Most people are struggling with this all day long. And I don't care who it is. They are struggling with having truth talk with their partners. And it can be someone you're in love with. It could be someone that you are just friends with. But if you don't focus on what makes you happy, you're not going to be happy. I know, like this is such like, I don't know. I find moments like today, because it's just been a week of this topic, right? And again, I never question when something pops into my life or my habits or whatever. And then this smile starter came out of, focus on what makes you happy. And today I was just at the end of the day and I was like, what does make me happy? And it's being able to say to my husband when things are irritating or bothering or frustrating me, and even though I don't want him to be upset or I don't want him to think like I don't love him, because I do, I love him like madly, but I don't want him to be upset that I don't want that, or that I want something else, or one of our old habits are coming up. We both get into the habit of being workaholics. We both have this issue. Both of us. It's not just him and it's not just me. And I have to call myself out on it. Then I have to tell him, and then he takes it personal, and it's not him, it's both of us. And so my point is that if I'm not focusing on what makes me happy, which is to do other things or talk about other things besides work, it's on me, which means we have to stop people pleasing and pleasing him that he likes talking about work. Well, I don't care. We're not going to talk about work. So turn it around and say, okay, now turn it around to someone you're, newly dating or newly in a relationship with. And we don't want to ruin it because it feels so good with the rainbows and unicorns. And that's awesome. Don't get me wrong. Like, we all want the good stuff. But then we're like, oh, I don't want to ruin that. So we're so afraid for truth talk. You're so afraid to truth talk. And then all of a sudden, we just people please and we give them what they want. We give them what they want to the point where you're 20 years down the road 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road in a relationship, and you resent them because you never get your needs met. Totally your fault. It's totally on you. Hi guys, it's good to see all of you showing up. Throw your comments in here. I would love to hear anyone's comments on this. Who on this call are you guys catching yourself people pleasing? And you don't not want it to make them happy. You want to do something for them, but you're not being honest about what you want. Or you catch yourself doing that and you're like, it's totally on me. I do that, right? I don't think this is like a non-human thing. I don't think this is a negative thing. What I do realize is that you're more powerful when you go through pressure together. You're more powerful with those things when they start appearing. Right? Jeremy, like it is so true, right? When you go through difficulties together, but you can actually be honest about something on your own, that's what builds a power couple. Those are your badass power couples. That's where they come from. Going through toxic, difficult environments together, but then having the ability to be honest with them that you don't want something they want. And it doesn't mean you don't want something they want ever. It just means you don't want something that they want now. Or you don't want something they want now. You're willing to give it to them now, but you aren't willing to negotiate something that you want forever. And when that happens, and you keep doing that, and this is a self thing. Now, this is a self-growth moment for all of you guys who do this. So those of you on here, throw me a yes in the comment that you do this yourself, which is you people please and you accommodate and you enable others by doing for them and with them and accommodating whatever their needs are in that moment, right? And then it comes to the planet you're looking at right now. And the scenario you're all in your environments. And remember, everything you're all experiencing right now in your environments are the same. I did the exact opposite and blew someone off, and I really didn't mean to. But again, I don't believe that's blowing them off. I think it was doing what was important to you, and they took it as blowing them off. And I think that you've got to take that back and say it's okay to want what you want. So that's where I was trying to direct you guys into. It's okay to want what you want. And the planet is in a situation right now because we've been people pleasing and tiptoeing around everybody for so long. We haven't been doing what we want. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, codependent behavior. We do what they want. We sacrifice our needs for other people. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to not want what you want is not like going to upset some people. What I'm trying to explain to you is wanting what you want doesn't mean you get upset with other people for not wanting what you want. And that's where negotiation and power coupling and power relationships, power partnerships in business as well. I see this a lot in business group and CEO and executive coaching that I do. I've seen this a lot where I in the private work, they're not being completely truth-talking with each other. So it's like, why wouldn't you want that? You want your business to be like the most expansive and explosive as you want it. Well, now get it into personal relationships. You know what you want. You won't tell them. So how the hell are they going to know? How would they ever know? And then there are times when I tell people this is what I want. And they're like, oh, I can't believe you did that. You didn't want to be with me. It has nothing to do with them. And so we have to stop not wanting what we want, but then when we don't want that and we tell them and we expect them to want what we want back, they may not. They may not want what you want. That's okay too. And this planet that we're on right now, this global collective I've showed you guys on the planet, and here's this planet, and we're expanding. We're expanding because we're finally going, that's not where I want my kids to go to school. That's not how I want them to learn. That's not how I want them to be. I want them to be independent and confident and responsible in ownership and want what they want, which is they don't want to do that anymore. We'll let them want what they want. There's your kids. Your coworkers. Well, you don't want to do that? Okay, don't do that. I'm good at this. You do that instead. Let's swap. Okay, it's okay to want what you want. Partnerships, relationships, marriage. it gets such a bad rap. And my answer is marriage doesn't need to be bad, but it's going to be tough because any partnership is tough. Any friendship you want to be badass is going to be tough. But if you're holding back and coddling them because you're afraid you might lose them, you already lost them in the moment you were afraid to be honest in the truth talk. So I'm going to set you guys up here with just a moment of going, okay, do you allow yourself to be honest and truthful with other people? Can you have a truthful conversation with someone and say, that's so cool if you want that, but that's not what I want. This is what I want. So if we do what you want, I'm going to negotiate or at least ask, can we do what I want on this day? Set yourself up for getting it, wanting it, and actually completing it. And I mean little things, down to a meal, down to staying home in your jammies and relaxing, down to I want to just be home alone and read a book. And I know my spouse or friend wants to go out with your friends, go do something else, go do what you want to do. I don't want to, and this is important to me. And we don't do that. As a collective, we're doing it now. That's why you're watching everything from the old crash and burn, because you guys were people pleasing. You guys, the planet was people pleasing. We were people pleasing everybody what they wanted. This is where I get so tripped up with this whole medical system. Let it freaking crash. Let it burn to the ground, because we were pleasing what they told us is going to work for you. But it doesn't, I would say. It doesn't work for me. But it should. But it doesn't. But there was no other solutions offered. Let it burn to the ground, because I know what I want. I know what works. I know what's going to thrive and win for me. And if that's not it, look for something else. But truthfully, when it comes to relationships, if you want to win and you want a badass marriage, a badass date, a boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, business partner, you've got to stop people pleasing and start being brutally honest and start having truth talks. And again, like I told you guys earlier, you can go get my couples toolbox. It works still with business partners in the top half. The bottom half has some intimacy stuff, but the top 6 topics are learning how to know who you are and then tell that to another person. It's called the couples toolbox. Or you can just be in your Smile Starter and you can sign the back of this and say, focus on what makes you happy. I know what makes me happy is I want a burger and a beer. Anybody on here want a burger and a beer? And you hand this off to somebody. That's what the Smile Starters are. You sign it and then you give it to someone else to make them smile. And so I'm going to put a challenge at all of you tonight is to, even if you don't have my actual Smile Starters, is to write it on a sticky note or a napkin and put, it's okay. Focus on what makes you happy, or it's okay to want what you want, and hand it to them and say, pass this on. It's okay to want what you want. And know that everything that's burning to the ground right now is so good. And everything that is crashing and burning right now, it needed to happen for you to stop people pleasing and want what you want. And that's hard, because everything most people up to 50, 60 years of age right now, that's all you've learned. You haven't had any other options. The younger groups have a little bit more. They've been exposed to a little bit more. They're going to break out of the system a little bit more than the older ones. You just have a little bit of habituation going on. We're used to doing it. And I am not okay with people pleasing anymore. That has ended. And I brought this up several times in the last year, but I'm really big on it right now when it comes to partnerships. Codependent behavior. Codependency is typically an empath with a light or extreme version of narcissist, right? And then they want to blame each other like, well, they're a narcissist, they're extreme, they're so needy. And I'm like, they're no different than the empath who's blaming them and saying, but poor me, look at me. Do you see the attention I need because they're taking advantage of me? Both are the same person in mirror effect with just the extreme version of polarity. And so the polarity is mirroring each other of low self-esteem. The narcissist has low self-esteem and they do it expanded and aggressive and over the top, and the empath is the quiet, oh my gosh, can you believe it victim. Yet at the end of the day, they're both mirroring each other in codependency of saying, oh, I'm not good enough to say what I want, which is truth talk. Okay? So, I know I had a little rant. Is it Friday? It's my Friday rant. Okay, my Friday rant. I just wanted you guys to go into the weekend and make sure you're not people pleasing and you're starting to live in your truth talk. Speak from your truth, and not in a this is wrong with you and you don't want what I want kind of way. Never judging, never accusing, and never expecting. No one needs to do what you want at all. Even your partner, even your husband, even your wife, right? But you need to do what you want and be okay with them not being part of that, but owning the fact that it is your truth. Thank you, Jeremy. I love you too. It's okay to live your truth. Okay? And it is okay to speak your truth. And the moment you start doing that, you're going to draw more authentic, connected relationships. Even if they don't like it, remember, because they won't like it for long. When they know you're not leaving them, they know you just need to speak your truth. Because that's what builds the badass power couples. And badass power couples are so needed on the planet right now. Because the more connected you are with other people, the more power and strength you feel insecure in your base. And the more secure you are in your base, the more communal we become, because we start building those communities of strength and truth instead of people pleasing and toxicity. Let the toxicity, let the systems, let the boxes dismantle, burn to the ground, guys, because we're going to a better place. I don't care what the TV wizards keep telling you, it's not going that way. I promise. Just step into your truth, go through the weekend with truth talk, watch your people pleasing. I wish you all brightest blessings, and I will see you on Monday for the Truth Tribe. Remember, if you're not registered, go onto the website and register, and hopefully we'll have a new app ready to go by then. It's looking promising. So I wish you all brightest blessings, and we'll see you on Monday. All right? Take care. Have a good weekend.